Alright guys, so I've made this video today to talk about games that have converted to free to play bit by bit and slowly improved it relatively out of the spotlight. And first of all, I want to talk about what Starcraft 2's offers. So originally nothing was free, and in about 2014 they allowed for free arcade access, and I think they improved some of the features there. But since about 2017 they've actually made it so that the entirety of the Wings of Liberty campaign is free, and everyone that was at that stage of the game purchase also got Heart of the Swarm for free. And they also, at the time, made it so that Raynor, Kerrigan and Artanis were free, I think only up to level 5 to begin with, but now they are completely, free all the way up to the end game of the co-op system. Next thing was the unranked and versus AI systems. So not only are they free to play, they're also how you unlock free to play access to the rank system now. And it takes 10 first win of the days in either mode to get that. And yeah, it's pretty mickey because everyone seems to really be drawn to Starcraft 2 because of the ranked aspect. Next thing, well, you get access to the chat free, but not straight off the bat. So in order to curb things like spamming and all sorts of nonsense, people trying to grift accounts and silly things like that, it takes getting to level 10 with one of the races, so in custom games or in ranked, unranked or versus AI queues, or 15 with one of the races or 10 with one of the commanders in order to actually unlock the chat. So that's what it takes to really be able to take advantage of Starcraft 2 free to play and use chats and all that sort of thing. Be able to, 10 days worth of work to be able to play ranked, see how good you are in the game, get all your aspirations for going for Master or Grandmaster or whatever they happen to be. And I put this on the wrong side, silly me, too busy talking about the game. But anyway, not that it matters, I'm actually going to go jump in the next game that I wanted to discuss, talk about just how much the free-to-play has improved over the years, and just how relatively unknown it might be compared to games when they launch free-to-play to begin with. So the next game I want to talk about that's really improved its free-to-play offering, Age of Empires Online. So this one is pretty much the dark horse of the Age of Empires series. The red-headed stepchild, relatively unknown. Got a lot of criticisms because of a lot of the MMO and freemium mechanics built into the game when it was first released. But these days, well, it's entirely free, so the freemium aspect of it doesn't really matter. So what the story is that back in 2014, well, back in 2012 actually, Microsoft really addressed a lot of the complaints with it being a freemium game that really didn't offer a great deal of value. But even by about 2014, once they got up to 6 civilizations and they'd had Romans sort of half scrapped after being, half in the works, they decided to pull the plug. And from then on, there's been no official support. But then in 2017, and sticking within the guidelines that Microsoft actually set on the game, a group of fans actually revived it with Project Celeste. And ever since, the entire game has been on the upper. It's entirely free to play now. You got access to all 6 civs, and in fact, 3 days after this video comes out, that's actually going to jump up to 7 civs. So yeah, that volunteer dev team is literally inventing, well, I wouldn't say inventing, but finishing off the work of the original developers, creating a civilization for the game, or at least getting it ready after it was basically stuck on a drawing board when Microsoft was still developing the game. So, well, not Microsoft, I think it was Gas Powered and then Robot. But yeah, it's great that the game is back in all its glory, and it's even better than before. So these guys, they've added several quest packs, both at the upper end of the leveling and at endgame. They've added 3 new events to cover, winter, summer, and Halloween. They've rebalanced PvP. There's been something like 25-ish balance patches. They've rebalanced PvE. They've added in a whole bunch of new advisors and made a lot of crappy old ones and redundant old ones better and a bit more varied. And yeah, the Romans will be out soon, so this is going to be the game to play. You know, I'm mucking around in Skirmish at the moment, but I've got access to so much. All the old legendaries, a whole bunch of new legendaries even. So here we go. And yeah, there's even rewards for playing in Sparta. So the old currency, Empire points, that was like the pay to win or pay to play currency basically. It got completely reworked by the Project Celeste devs and added back into the game as just sort of a, you know, a value currency for completing quests, playing PvP, leveling up, that sort of thing. So yeah, all in all, the game is probably the best PvE RTS you can play these days, almost without argument. Yeah, it's just a great game. The Project Celeste dev team have done so much with it, and yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about here. I might as well age up, throw down some barracks, make it look like I'm actually going to do something in this game, rather than just waffle on. I'll rush the AI as well. I need to get me fishing ships though. Holy shit, I have a lot of food. But yeah guys, I might just go to talking about my next game now, because I think I've pretty much covered all the bases with Age of Empires Line, but you should really check it out. Google Project Celeste. I'll put a link in the description for the game, as I will do for Starcraft 2 and for the next game. But yeah, that takes me over to the next one. That brings me to the final game I wanted to discuss today, with greatly improved free-to-play compared to its original options, or the lack of one to begin with. So World of Warcraft, over the years, went from being a game that I think had no free-to-play options to begin with, to having one with a fairly limiting level 20 option, where you're basically stuck to the original zones without any form of level scaling. So you're really stuck to basically these sort of 4 zones here for the humans, and similar sort of path there for the dwarves and for the undead, and you know, and you couldn't really play a lot in terms of races and classes. But nowadays you can play whatever class you want free to play. You can play, I think, just about all the races, except the ones you got to unlock, which you can get to unlock at level 10, except for the Shadowlands ones. On top of that, the gold limit of 10, sorry, it's been up to 1,000, and yeah, all the quests in most of the zones in the game have been scaled to suit you. So I'm stuck here in Northrend at the moment on a level 20. Originally this zone used to start at 68, I suppose, and we go up to 80. Right now with the level squish, just about all of it is 10 or 15 to 30, so it's perfect for you. It'll scale perfectly to you at level 20. Then there's some 25 to 30 stuff you're probably a bit weak for, but you know, by the time you get through all this stuff, you'll probably have brought yourself around to paying for subscription anyway. So same deal with all the other zones. Instead of really being limited to just Teldrassil, Darkshore, and then maybe Ashenvale from there in terms of like your 1 to 20 or 1 to 25-ish content, nowadays you can do most of Kalimdor. Really, all you can't do is Uldum and Mount Hyjal, because they're the Cataclysm Zone, so that's the only expansion other than Shadowlands you have no access to. So Shadowlands being the newest, obviously Blizzard wants you to pay for it, but any of the old content, all the old legacy stuff, you can go through and do at your pace. You can even queue up for PvP, that's pretty active. It's like a 3-minute queue. A couple of dungeons to do as well, but they actually sort of gutted that. That's probably the one area that's really been hit for free-to-play players. In pretty much every other aspect, things are way improved compared to, you know, how they were even just last expansion. So right now I'm just going to continue my journey, heading through. I've got to ring the town bell, that's right. It's up the stairs. Where is this bell? Oh, here. Alright. Now, where am I actually supposed to go from here? So anyway guys, peace out. I just wanted to cover some big names that have really transitioned towards a free-to-play model. that probably doesn't get enough of a shout out, that probably is relatively undiscovered because they never entirely went from pay to play to free to play. It's sort of been a gradual transition, and even still there is
Have a good one.
a freemium to it in a sense. It probably is. The three of these games now, WoW, Starcraft 2, Age of Empires Online, well, it's not a freemium, it's entirely free because it's got community developer support, sorry. But WoW and Starcraft 2, I think they've really transitioned to actually being good freemium models now, and I really think people should check out the free to play option in them. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.